Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Dow High Incoming Senior Night presentation. I'm Ted Davis. I'm the principal here at Dow High School. Hey, this format that we're using tonight, this is the first time we've really tried this format. Typically, we do this in person, but obviously due to COVID, we had to come up with a creative way to make this happen. So before we get going today, I do need to have say a few thank yous. Number one, thank you to Cammie Hall, who's our video communications teacher. She set this program up for us and allow us to be able to present and work with us. So thank you very much. Also, big thank you to Jenny Coppins, who's an assistant principal, as well as Jill English and Lori Hallberg, our counselors, for creating and facilitating this presentation. So as we know that transitioning into your senior year, it's an important time in your life. The design of the presentation tonight is to provide everybody, parents and students, with the framework on how to successfully navigate your senior year. Hey, during our presentation, as you're watching, if any questions might pop up, please put in the comment box. We do have counselors that are monitoring anything that goes in the comment box. So a great way or easy way to let us know if you have questions. So at this time, I am going to turn it over to Jennifer Coppins, our assistant principal.
Thanks, Ted. I appreciate that. Again, as Ted was talking about, we normally schedule with our students individually one-on-one in looking at their senior schedule. And with being remote for so long and students missing out on that face-to-face classroom time, we did not want to interfere with classroom time. At the same pace, we also need to really monitor the amount of face-to-face meetings that we're having, again, due to the restrictions that COVID placed on us. So we have done our best to put together as much information for you to be able to work with your student to successfully set up their course selection for their senior year. And so we're going to go through this presentation. The slides in the presentation were emailed out as well, so you have access to them. And as you're jotting down, hopefully, many of these live links in here will take you directly to the information that you need. So of course I go to do this, and does my presentation work for me? Okay. Oh, there we go. I finally got it to go to the next slide. All right, so information and resources in making your course selection. On the Dow High School homepage is where we have tried to put everything together in one place. Here at the top, we have the 21-22 high school scheduling. If you click on that in the drop-down menu, we have our current 9th, 10th, and 11th grade students. By clicking on that option, it's going to take you to the list of all of the pieces of information that you may be able to use here. So the most important pieces for us tonight are talking about the course selection sheet has a cover sheet. That's how you indicate your student, whether or not your student would like to meet with a counselor, and they will get that set up. The high school course request is where you will indicate what courses students actually want to take. The secondary course guide, we are going to refer to that. That is the book that has all of the information in it. Looks like this right down here at the bottom. That has all of the course descriptions. If you're wondering with your child or your student, hey, I wonder what that course is about. I wonder what that course is about. You can look up the course descriptions, prerequisites, and appropriate grade levels in the secondary course offering guide. In addition, we do have applications for some coursework that are required. So all of those are listed here as well. So anything that you need, we try to place right there in one location for everyone. So again, we talked about that current active link for 9th, 10th, and 11th grade Dow High students and the course offering guide. As this is loading, The most important piece is please take a look at the table of contents. It will tell you and gives you a lot of information. More than just what the courses are and their course descriptions, there's a lot of additional and supplemental information in here as well. So if you have a question, this is a great place, and normally the first place any of us go when we're looking for that information. So your seniors. Many of them have probably all of the 22 credits that are required to graduate. But despite that, in order to be a Midland Public Schools student, you must take 6 credits or 6 classes. So all students are required to take 6 courses. By the time they get to their senior year, what is left for them to take of required courses? Typically, it specifically states in the graduation requirements that they have to take a senior level math course or a math related course, such as many of our business courses or our science courses count as a math related course, and it must be taken and enrolled in during their senior year. The complete list of all of the math related courses is found on page 15 of that secondary course offering guide that I just showed you how to access. The other 4 credit requirement is English language arts. Typically, most students do need to take an English class. The 3 options for students to take are a semester of film study and writing workshop, advanced senior English, or the IB Lang and Lit HL course. And then you can, any other required courses that maybe they just didn't have time to fit in, or they were going to take it later, and now later has arrived. Your student's transcript is visible in a home access center. If you select grades, there's the 3 file tabs at the top, and the middle one is transcripts. That will help you to go back and reference what courses your student has already enrolled in and taken. So if you want to go through and review the graduation requirements and make sure that all of those things are complete, that's where you can access your student's transcript. So if they only have their senior math-related course and English, what other opportunities do students have? We have many career and technical education opportunities for our students to take. And what a better time than to really start engaging in career opportunities, or what do I really want to do when I graduate? What do I want to become? In all of these coursework, it's free. So it's just as important for kids to find out what they do want to do as it is to find out what they don't want to do. So even if you take agri-science because that's what you thought you wanted to do, it's much better to find out that now in high school than when you're in your 3rd year of college and have a lot of expense behind you in pursuing that, and then deciding, no, I don't really want to do that. All of these programs that are listed on here, agri-science, auto tech, culinary arts, education, Greater Michigan Construction Academy, they all have students have to complete a countywide CTE application. And that application, again, was listed on our Dow High website, where we have the one-stop, not one-stop shopping, but one-stop information with everything listed there. We also do have an agreement with the Bay Area Net Career Center, and any student in Midland Public Schools is allowed to enroll in and participate in their programs and take advantage of it as well. The one thing that we do need to be cautious of on the Bay Area Net Career Center is that transportation is up to the own student to be able to have that transportation out to the Career Center. Dow High School also has many career and technical education options. All of our business classes, our engineering coursework, and so we have a lot of different things and electives that students can enroll in. We also, for our incoming 8th grade students, we did put together a comprehensive electives video. So if you did want to take a look at that, there is a video. That is on the incoming 8th grade side of the website, and it's a 24-minute video. So if you want to take your time to watch that, to look at all of the different options for students, because again, no matter what, they do have to take 6 credits. Something else that's available for seniors only is work-based learning. That is the technical or the current name for it. We used to call it co-op. And work-based learning has a website. Again, that link is on the homepage on the Dow High site that I showed you. And so here, there's a lot of different information. This tells you when the meetings are going to be. I do know that they've had to move them out of room 362 into the media center due to size. So this week, there is a meeting in the morning in the media center on work-based learning. So if your student wants to attend, they can do that. Success stories of other students involved, other programs. And if you need to contact Mr. Richard, who is the Dow High Work-Based Coordinator, you can go ahead and send that information in. So if you have questions about work-based learning, please take a look at the website and take advantage of contacting Mr. Richard. Another option for our seniors is dual enrollment. Dual enrollment is where your student takes courses at a local college or university. Our students take advantage of being so close to Delta College. We have had in the past a student take advantage of Central Michigan University, but again, it's just due to travel time. But it is when they are taking a class at the local college or university, and the school district, Midland Public Schools, will pay for the course, and it does count as a class in their schedule. And there are some qualifiers to what courses kids can take in order for it to be paid for, and in order for it to qualify as one of their 6 courses. And the course must be at least a 2-credit class. It must be a course that Dow High does not offer or is beyond the curriculum that Dow High School offers. So one of our most popular courses that students dual enroll in is Calculus 3 differential equations. And that's because within Dow High School, we go up to Calculus BC, which is equivalent to like a Calculus 2. And then because that's the last math course we offer, our students can continue their math education by going out to Delta or any other college and university of their choice. And we will pay for them to take that course to further their education. Another example would be something like criminal justice. So if you have a student who is interested in studying criminal justice, and there are some beginning criminal justice courses that they could enroll in, that they meet the prerequisites for. Again, that's an area where we don't offer any coursework in criminal justice, so we would pay for that. And again, it counts as their schedule. If they're going to take something like psychology and they're interested in psychology classes, we do offer, our highest level is the IBAP psychology. So our students would have to take our course first. And if they have taken that course, then they would qualify to take other advanced courses for dual enrollment. If you need information on dual enrollment in the dual enrollment application, that is an active link. And the process to apply for and go through is here. And it gives you some things to consider, and it gives you a little bit more information. So you can always select the active link for the dual enrollment. If you want more information on dual enrollment in the secondary course offering guide, that is on page 18. If your student is considering or is definite about dual enrollment, if they have all of their paperwork, now that means they have to complete a college application to whatever college or university they're interested in. They have to be accepted for dual enrollment, and then they have to complete the dual enrollment paperwork within our school as well. So if they have everything set up, specifically, this is for Delta, but if all of the paperwork is in by February 26th, though our students for dual enrollment do have priority registration for March 11th and 12th for their courses that they would like to take. If they don't meet that February 26th, that deadline, that's okay too, because then they just have open registration on March 19th that the students will get to participate in for dual enrollment. Virtual options. And so on page 17, there is the definitions of the various virtual options that we have. Blended learning is something that we have participated in and we've been running courses for blended learning. There are 2 senior courses that are offered only blended learning. That's the only way. There is not a full face-to-face option, and that is Modern Global Topics and Advanced Business. And blended learning is basically where students go to class face-to-face 2 to 3 days a week, and the other 2 to 3 days a week, they're completing their assignments on their own time. We do offer classes virtual, and that is not face-to-face. It is completely 100% virtual. And on the course selection sheet, if it says that there is a V, that means that it's virtual with an MPS teacher. It could be a Midland High teacher as well. It's not guaranteeing that it's a Dow High teacher, but it just means that it's being offered virtually with a Midland Public School teacher, sorry. And e-learning is something that we've always had. It's for our students. For example, we have some students that are interested in taking American Sign Language. We don't offer it, and so they want to do that and engage in that. So for 1 hour a day, they go to our e-learning lab and they participate in their American Sign Language course or other. We have other courses as well. So we do have different types of virtual options that are available to students. You might want to consider something like that within their courses. So as you are working with your current junior, I was working with my friend's student, and the student was really reluctant because he was so nervous. I think the students are feeling the pressure. They're feeling the pressure of remote learning. They're feeling the pressure of maybe some isolation due to COVID. And they're feeling the pressure of having to make some pretty big decisions about where we're going to go to school. And it's easier to avoid it rather than to dig in and engage it. So I really think that that's the student that I was working with. I really think that he just was nervous and didn't know where to go, didn't know where to start, and didn't really want to face the scheduling process of becoming a senior and the pressure that goes with being a senior. So when I sat down with my friend's student, the place that I started was I started at Delta College. And the reason why I started at Delta College was because it seemed obtainable. It seemed reasonable. And so all I did was I opened up the programs that Delta has. Now, this student I know is not interested in going to Delta, but maybe your student is. I don't know. But again, it's just a starting talking point. And I brought up the Delta College website in all of the different programs that that students can take there, and just said, look through these programs and tell me what you're interested in. What looks like something you might want to take? So he said, okay, architectural technology. All right, so we clicked on architectural technology, and I really do have to give kudos to Delta because their website really is user-friendly. So I opened it up and we looked down here and I said, okay, so if you were to study this, it looks like you have some English, you still have to have chemistry, some other courses, some interpersonal communications, American politics. So I just wanted to give him an idea of what type of courses that if you were to study something like architecture or technology, what were the courses that you would have to take? And so again, and then we went down to the other one that he chose was mechanical engineering technology. And again, I looked through, chemistry. Well, that was common between both of them. So have you taken chemistry? Is that something that maybe you're going to have to engage in that in a college if this is what you should study? Maybe you should, consider that. Trigonometry. What about your math class? Maybe that's something that you want to take a look at. And so as we went through and we looked at a couple of different things, one of them that we looked at had psychology in there. And so I said, well, if psychology is a requirement and something you're going to have to take, maybe you want to take it at Dow High first. So at least you have an idea of what the course is about. And when you get to college, you at least have some prior knowledge before you get in there and you start studying the course. So if you don't know where to start, again, you don't have to. I'm just trying to offer you a suggestion as to how you can open up that conversation with your student as far as what curriculum I might be interested in, and what are the courses that tie to it. We also found out that within there, as we were going through and investigating the associate's programs and the courses that you had to take, if you click on the courses, it also talks about, it gives you course descriptions and what your prerequisites are. So that was another good thing. So if you look here, prerequisites, reading and writing level, and it tells you what you're going to be studying within that course. So business mathematics in this one. So maybe you should take personal finance and statistics to go along with your business mathematics in here. And one of the things that we were looking at within the prerequisites of the specific course I happened to be looking at with a student, it stated that you needed computer technology, basic computer, Microsoft skills. So again, that was another question. Do you have basic, do you feel you have basic Microsoft skills? Our students use Chromebooks and Google a lot. They're very proficient in that. Maybe you should take a semester of computer technology. But what was very nice was all of the suggestions that I was making had come from information that was related to a program of study that was something that the student might be interested in the future. So it was helping make some of those decisions in picking out some elective courses, again, to engage in now, to set them up for success beyond Dow High School. The other part that if you're interested in an area of study and you really don't know where or what college or university, the other part about Delta that I found very interesting and very useful. So if a student wants to study accounting, once they're done with it, if they were to get an associate's degree from Delta, here are the places that they can take that accounting associates and transfer it out. So when we looked at architectural technology, you could go to BU, which I'm not familiar. I believe it was something like a Bellevue University. I'm not sure. Eastern Michigan University, Ferris State University, Finlandia, which is up in the UP. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Northwood University, and Siena Heights University. So again, it was interesting because that led us to the conversation about, again, as Ms. Hallberg later on in the presentation is going to talk about college applications in that search. Again, it was a very non-threatening, informational way to answer some of those questions. And by the time we were done looking at all the information and gathering all the information, I had helped the student come up and make not only a 6-hour-a-day schedule, but we also had alternates as well, where the student was like, yeah, I can, yes, that's good. I can do that. I like what we have here. So again, I'm not saying that your student has to go to Delta, but if you're looking for a non-confrontational way to maybe engage in some of those conversations with a junior who's scared about their future and really doesn't know what to do, that it's just a suggestion. It happened to work for me with the student that I was working with, and I thought it was valuable, and I just wanted to share that with you. So the course selection sheets are due on February 11th. Complete it as best as possible. There are bins in the counseling office, and again, complete it as best as possible. And if the student says, yes, I want to meet with my counselor, we have some students that don't need to meet with their counselor. Many of our IB students, our International Baccalaureate students, have already have their junior year and senior year of coursework already planned out. So they may not need to meet with a counselor, so they can already put their courses in and submit those. So please just remember the course sheets are due on February 11th. Have your students do the best job as possible. Even if they do want to see a counselor, circle yes, and then their counselor will get with them after. Switching from course selection into the Michigan Merit Exam. The Michigan Merit Exam is part of the graduation requirement that students must participate in. And by participate, that means they must engage and actually sit through and take the test. It's not based upon what their test scores are, but they must actually participate and take the test. So for our current junior students, we are scheduled for them to take the SAT test on Tuesday, April 13th. Our students do have to take the SAT with essay portion of the exam, and it lasts approximately 5.5 hours. It is a long test, and it will take up most of their day. Following that, on April 14th, they will take the WorkKeys test. Again, it is a required test that we must give our students, and students must participate in. And it assesses reading, applied math, and locating information. It is a time test. It's about 3.5 hours. Takes place on Wednesday, the 14th. After they take the WorkKeys test, they will have a 35-minute lunch break, just like they do every day. And then they will come back for the last portion of required testing for the Michigan Merit Exam. And that is the M-Step for Science and Social Studies. The key here is that that is an online test, so students need to bring their Chromebook. Please remind them to have it charged on April 14th. And then they will do the online science and social studies test. It's estimated to be about 2 hours, and then they will be done with all of the assessments. What to bring to testing. Remember that this is a standardized test. College Board sets the rules, so we are required to have them show their photo ID. They are required to take the test in number 2 pencils, and I believe for the essay they have to have black ink pens, and maybe that's inaccurate. So we'll have to see if that we'll get clarification on that and send that out to you as we get closer. Not mechanical pencils, though. I do know that. An approved scientific calculator is all they need. What not to bring to testing, they can't bring their cell phones. We do have to collect them. And the other thing that we now have to take care of are the watches that communicate, the Fitbits. Like this is just my Versa. It's not an Apple Watch, but I do receive text messages on here. And so students are not allowed to have any communication devices, including their watches, in there. So we ask for them not to have those. So as students get ready to take the Michigan Merit Exam, how do you prepare for that? So again, SAT scores, we're getting different information on the significance of them in college applications. But despite that, we know that your student wants to do their absolute best on the SAT and the SATs and their SAT testing. So the number one thing to do is Khan Academy is the SAT who is College Board writes the SAT test, and it is Khan Academy is the approved College Board website to use to receive instruction to improve your student's score. There is a way in which you can upload and connect your PSAT scores into Khan Academy, and Khan Academy will provide instructional lessons and units to your student on their areas of weakness based on their past PSAT score. Your student should know how to do this already, and if they don't, they can ask their counselor how to do that, so that way they are having the prescriptive instruction that will be used directly to help them. And yes, Khan Academy is free. There's no cost. So if you are to call and ask us, what can I do to help my student with their SAT? That is the best place, because College Board approves it. And it is, again, based on your student's individual success and areas of weakness in which they need to improve. The other thing is that we can't go anywhere without our cell phones. And so if you look on here and just type in SAT practice, and I found about 5 different apps that word of the day, question of the day, SAT flashcards, SAT vocabulary, There's a lot of them that if you download an app and you can practice a question every day based off of the SAT in order to help your student improve their SAT score. So please use those two pieces to your advantage. There are practice tests in Khan Academy as well. If you want to participate in a complete practice test, last I remember or recall, there were 5 SAT practice tests, and they're constantly are releasing more in there. So by the time there could be more, but I know there's at least 5. So your student can practice in 5, at least 5 of them. And so we have those days. In addition to MME testing, our students participate in advanced placement and IB testing, and the significance of those tests is that they can lead to college credit. So Lori Hallberg, one of our Dow High counselors, is going to join us, and she is going to talk not only about college credits, but more in depth about the college process to help prepare you as we lead into the senior year. Lori, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
All right. Hi, Jenny. Hi, everyone. So first, I'll just start with IB and AP testing, since Jenny was on the testing topic. Advanced placement and International Baccalaureate testing. This is one way that your student can try and earn some college credit while in high school. Both tests students register and pay for in October of the testing year. And their teachers will help guide them whether their test or their class will lead towards testing. Testing for both AP and IB happen in May. And it's good to look at different potential college websites to see what credit you could earn. If you just go on a college website, in the search bar, I find that's the easiest way to locate it. Just type in AP test credit or IB test credit, and then from there you can see for each specific test how much credit each individual college would give. So going to that specific college website is where you'll get information. And then I'm going to lead into talking about colleges and applications, but first just want to make a comment that we have a college advisor. She is actually a retired counselor, and she will work with our first generation college students just to give them a little more support, walking them through the application process, but also scholarships and completing the FAFSA. So just a little more support in addition to what that student's counselor will give them. All right, so this year is the year of exploring, the junior year, taking different classes, trying to figure out what you may want to go into, but also where does that lead you in life? So visiting different colleges. And in the time of COVID, every college is different. So really the best way to do your research is to start with the college website. Some colleges are doing in-person visits. Probably not group visits, might be just an individual family being able to tour the college. And some are doing virtual visits. So it's nice to visit a school if possible. If your student's unsure of what type of atmosphere they might want, you might want to just select a large school, a medium size, and a smaller school to start with. And from there say, you know, where did you feel the most comfortable? Because if your student's going to live there for 4 or 5 years, you want to make sure you're comfortable, but you want to make sure your student's comfortable in that atmosphere as well. We do have 2 school excuse days that students can use when they are visiting a college or any post-secondary location. They can get something signed and dated from like an admissions office and then bring that into school, and that can serve as the school excuse form. You can also use PD days, such as this Friday is one. Those days are days that students don't have to miss school, but yet they can still visit a college while maybe they're in session. Because college, when they're in session, is much different atmosphere than like in the summertime or a weekend. And this year with COVID, some schools are all virtual, some are in person. So you're going to get a little different feel, but still just to drive around, see the buildings, just lets you have a look at what the school looks like. The website that's at the bottom of this page is a virtual Midwest college visit. So for March 11th from 5 to 9, you can go on and register here and be able to visit different colleges in the Midwest virtually and just get some information about each school. Maybe a good place to start to see where else you might want to investigate a little more. So the application process. Applications usually open up August 1st, and then we use Halloween as our deadline or the goal for the deadline. Some schools have set deadlines, or they'll say early decision. If you get everything in by November 1st, we'll give you a decision by December 24th. Using Halloween, it's a date that students can remember, and so we like to use that as our deadline. So there's really 3 steps in the application process. First, the application. So you can either find it on the college website. Normally when you go to the college website, there's a big spot that says apply now or future students. They try and make it pretty obvious, especially in the fall when students are looking to apply. Another common way of applying to colleges that our students use is through Common App. Common App is one application that gets sent to multiple schools. This ends up being a little more complicated than it originally sounds because there's a few essays that are common for all schools, and then individual colleges that you select to send your application to may require additional essays. So if you're going to use the Common App, I would first look to see what schools are on there, and then if that school's offer also has their own application and that's the only one you're going to use on the Common App, it may be less work to just do the school rather than Common App. Such as, I'll use CMU. They are on the Common App, and then they're also on their cmich.edu site. On their Central Michigan website, there's not an essay, but on the Common App application, there is, and there's 2 teacher recommendations and a counselor recommendation. So you can see it gets more involved using the Common App. If your student's looking at multiple schools that use the Common App, then that's one nice way to just do your application in one spot and then send it off to multiple schools. Another part of your application is the transcript. So in the fall, students will receive an email from parchment.com. That is the website that we use to send transcripts electronically. The email that they will receive will have some demographic information in their what do I want to say? As they're setting up their account. So it'll have their their address, their school, the basic information, and they'll just click on a link and do some completing information to set up their account. For that account, it's recommended to do a username, a email that's a school one and a personal email, so that they can use this account down the road if they end up switching schools or needing to use it in the future. Once their Dow High email is cut off, they can still use the forgot my password with another account. If your student is using Common App, the counselor will upload the transcript, but sometimes schools want the transcript after the first semester, like in the semester we just ended, it's called the 7th semester, and all schools will want a transcript at the end of the year. So those we like students to use Parchment, and they can be sent right after all the transcripts are official. So the third part of the application process is test scores. Now this year, many colleges gave options. Some were test optional, Some allowed you to use your score or not. So it really varied. I'm assuming that most schools are going to do that again next year, but I guess we'll have to wait and see what colleges are doing. Even though colleges weren't necessarily using SAT scores for the application process, some of them are still using them for scholarships. So that SAT that your junior will be taking in March, it is a good idea to study for that so that they can do well and possibly use it for scholarships. Now, if a student doesn't perform as well as they wish and wants to retake the SAT, they can sign up on College Board for a Saturday test. I believe Davenport University in Midland gives the Saturday test, as well as Valley Lutheran in Saginaw. And it's fine to send more than one test score to a college. Colleges tell us, we meet with the different college reps, and they tell us that they truly do look at just the highest score. So it's okay if a student sends 2 scores, they're going to be looking at the highest one for scholarships or for admissions. Oh, besides I guess I was starting to talk about scholarships. So here are merit scholarships. Some colleges give merit scholarships based on GPAs and possibly test scores, again, depending on the schools and if they're using test scores for this or not. If you go to the individual college's website, there should be some chart or a graph or something explaining what GPA and what test score will give you what scholarships. Now, the deadline for test scores, if they're using it, for each school is a little different. Some will let you retake your test and just keep submitting scores to try and get a higher merit scholarship. Some say December is your deadline. Some will say June. So really the best way is talking to individual colleges, the college reps, which I should make a side comment to. In the past, we've had college reps come to Dow High to meet with students. This year, we were unable to do that, but we did some virtual meetings. And most of them were taking place after school so that students could attend it and they could talk with the college rep, they could ask questions. So that might be an important question to ask if they use test scores for scholarships. When is the deadline for submitting that higher test score? There are a lot of different websites that will give you scholarships, give you scholarship information, I should say, for when you can apply, such as FastWeb, Sallie Mae, Michigan.gov, My Student Aid. And these sites, you enter in your own information, give some details of GPA and possible test scores, interests, what they want to go into, and you'll get an email when a scholarship that you qualify for is available. Now, a lot of those scholarships are Michigan-wide or through the United States, so there's a large pool of applicants. My next star on there is talking about the Midland Foundation scholarships, and those scholarships are just for Midland County. So we really encourage students to apply for the Midland Foundation scholarships. They open up on December 1st and close February 15th. So this year, ours is just about to close. And what students do for these scholarships, they go to the website and they complete a series of questions. And then from their answers, their information is sent to multiple scholarships. I believe there's like 250 scholarships in total, so a lot of different ones available just for Midland County. And students can earn multiple scholarships, but they do cap the dollar amount and the number of scholarships so that they can try and spread those scholarships around to multiple students. In with the Midland Foundation scholarships, they'll also need a teacher recommendation and their transcript. So a few times we've mentioned a teacher recommendation. In the fall, we talk with our seniors, who are now the juniors, and we give them a form that they can complete and give to somebody when they ask for a letter of recommendation. it just gives that person, whether it's their counselor or a teacher, more information of what else they do, or what they feel their strengths are. Sometimes a teacher might know a student just from their classroom and not realize, oh, they have these other skills, and that's something else they could write about. So we do guide the students with filling out scholarships and how to, make a strong statement in your essays. As senior parents, every Friday I send out an email with just general information from the counseling office. And that email it's written to the seniors, and then I copy paste it and send it to senior parents as well, because I realize sometimes not all that information is relayed home. So any scholarship that comes into the counseling office, it's put on that email. And I find that's a good way to communicate to the students, but also to the parents. And then once it is on the email, it also goes on the Dow High website. So once you go to the Dow High website, you can go to counseling, and then there's a pull down that is available scholarships. So we try and keep you up to date with any new scholarship information we have. Another form, not necessarily scholarship, but financial aid, is the FAFSA, Free Application for Federal Student Aid. This is based on the previous year's tax information. So it'll open October 1st of 2021, and then the deadline is March 1st. And for this, it needs a student PIN number and a parent PIN number. And that serves as your signature, because everything is virtual, or is done on the internet. This is needed to be done to try and see if you can qualify for any federal financial aid, but it's also used for any need-based scholarships. Many times, need-based scholarships will ask for your estimated family contribution, which is given to you from completing the FAFSA. Also, after you complete this, your student is eligible for low-interest loans. So it just gives more information. As you fill this out, you put the top colleges that your student is interested in, and your information gets sent to those schools, and then those colleges send your student an email saying, this is information, whether you're given financial aid, whether you're given loans, but each school's dollar amount could be different. In the fall, we offer workshops to help parents complete this. And we have financial aid advisors from Delta come and help us. We weren't able to do that this year because of COVID, but Delta did have some call-in open hours for completing the FAFSA or for answering questions on it. And they are very helpful, and they really don't care if you're not going to be going to Delta, going to be going to a different college. They're really just wanting to help parents. The little email at the bottom, or the website at the bottom, is every Tuesday and Thursday in February through the My Student Aid. It's on the michigan.gov website. They're going to be having virtual financial aid. And I know it's early for junior parents because you're not completing the FAFSA, but I put it on here because I thought it might be something you would be interested in just attending or looking at, just to see what it's about or see what information you need. So check that website out, or ask us questions if you have any questions about completing the FAFSA. A new scholarship opportunity that started this year and now is open for juniors is through College Board. And College Board is the organization that gives the SAT tests and the AP tests as well. It's called the College Board Opportunity Scholarships. And it's really random drawings. And the more your student does or participates, the more they're entered into the drawings. You can see on here if they build their college list. So they start looking up different colleges and seeing what they might be interested in and putting them on a list. Well, then they're put in a drawing for a $500 scholarship. If they practice the SAT, then they're given another drawing. If your student completes all 6 of those activities, they're put into a drawing for a $40,000 scholarship. So that's a really nice scholarship for really doing activities that's going to be helpful for them anyway. So do check out, it's the collegeboard.org website, and then on there, it's called the Opportunity Scholarship. So we realize that not every student is going to go on to college, but we feel that some type of training is helpful for whatever type of work a student goes to. So there are other opportunities we like to promote. Jenny talked about Delta College's website earlier, and they have a lot of great programs. They also have a lot of great certificate programs, which may be a 1-year or a 2-year, and then a student has the certificate, they can go into the working world. There's GMCA, Greater Michigan Construction Academy, and that would lead a student to earning an apprenticeship. There's Merrill Institute, and that is a welding trade school. And then the military. In the past, we've had recruiters come to school. Again, this year things are a little different, but we have their contact information. So if your student is interested in the military, we can help to connect them with recruiters. All right, and I think we've thrown a lot of information to you today. Right here is your different counselors, Doug Bradford, Jill English, and myself, Lori Hallberg, our email addresses and our phone numbers. Email is really the easiest way to get a hold of us, because if we're with a student, then sometimes we can play phone tag. So if you have questions and things that we didn't answer today, you can feel free to send us an email and we can help answer your question that way. Okay, I think Jenny's going to join me again. All right.
Yes. Okay. So I just want to say thank you. If you are a parent and due to time constraint, the timer is in the corner and I see we've been running for 53 minutes. If you need to leave, please log out. We thank you for attending. If you have a specific question about any information that we had, please go ahead and put that in the comments and we will answer them live for you right now. I know the last one was the course offering guide. If you go to Dow High School, the 21-22 scheduling link, the current 9th, 10th, and 11th graders, and you look at that menu of options, the course offering guide is available through there. I'm sorry, I don't know why the link in the PowerPoint that was sent out is not working. I apologize for that. But again, we're learning new technology and trying to help, but there's more than one way to access that. So please go to the Dow High School website, 21-22 scheduling, and then the current 9th, 10th, and 11th graders, and you'll follow you'll find that information there. If your student doesn't have their course offering, their course request sheet, or their cover guide, they haven't brought it home and haven't talked to you about it yet, that is there as well as a PDF for you to download and look at and have access to. But all of the students did receive a paper version of that in school last week. Any other questions in the comments? I guess I better scroll down over here to make sure I see everything.
Looks like Jill English has done a nice job answering questions. So thank you, Jill.
Yes. And again, we appreciate it as we wanted to connect with parents and help not only students, but parents through this process, as we are not as connected as we typically are due to restrictions, unfortunately. So we hope that by doing a live night, still virtual, that maybe you still felt a little more connected and involved in this process and know where to get information.
Oh,
Okay, let's take a look here. Any college summer programs to recommend? They are valuable to prepare for college. Yes. So in doing so, typically the ones that I have found at Ferris State has some, Michigan Tech University has some, and Delta College has some. And the easiest, Michigan State has a lot, U of M has a lot.
Yeah.
And the way that I have found it easiest to see their summer programs is literally to go to their college website and in that search engine, type in summer programs. And then typically it will come up with a list of programs. And even if they have last year's programs, I know Michigan Tech's, their programs were all canceled due to COVID. So I don't know, while I agree that they are extremely valuable, I don't know what colleges and universities are doing. So just pick some to take a look at. Alex, do students need an art credit to graduate?
Yes, that's the Visual and Performing Applied Arts, the VPAA, and many different classes qualify for that. So if you're not a true art student or music student, there's business classes, there's English classes like journalism, yearbook, computer science, engineering, design, a lot of different options. And that is available. You can see the listing in the school secondary course offering guide. There's a listing of all the VPAA credits.
And that would be found on my computer. I'm trying to pull up the secondary course offering guide. And that would be found on page 13. So if you go to the secondary course offering guide, Alex, the page 13 lists all of the courses that fulfill that requirement.
All right.
Okay. Well, hopefully, if you have any other questions, please reach out to us at Dow High. We are here to help. We do not want any parents or students to feel isolated or disconnected during this time. Please reach out to us so that we can help you in any way. We appreciate you attending our meeting. Thank you, Lori, for co-hosting with me, Ted,
Sure.
Mr. Davis for opening for us, and Miss Hallberg, who's behind the scenes doing our video recording, and Miss English. I think that was very helpful for you to keep up in the comments and getting responses to parents as soon as possible. So best of luck to you and your student as you are making decisions and heading into the senior year. And for some parents, this is a emotional, tearful time, not, where did the time go? And for some of you, you can't wait for to get them out of the house. So wherever you're at, we're here in the journey with you. Thank you for attending. We appreciate it.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye.